biggest takeaway from going back to the tape of Monday?
I think the biggest takeaway for me is just a couple deep balls. No deep balls ever been completed that a receiver couldn't get to. And so, especially with a guy like Tee, I felt like I had two that stood out as not giving him a chance. And, I can see what I was trying to do, but I need to adjust how I'm throwing some of my 50-50 balls to him just to give him, a shot at it. And so I would say that was the main takeaway. A couple of little things here and there that I want to clean up. One throw that I want back. But then outside of that, I think you can only have so many takeaways from any game, whether it was good or bad, and trying to focus on those.
One throw.
The throw to Mitch Tinsley. I was scrambling to the left. I saw him win early. I took the hard throw that was one in the progression instead of throwing it to Jamar, who was number 2 wide open. And, I'm not really knocking the read as much because I don't want to get into the habit of passing up people open in a progression. But I had a very similar throw in 2023 against Jacksonville. I was rolling to the right and I threw it to Trent Irwin on a similar play and kind of threw it like that when Mitch was giving me body language that he was going to take it high, and I should have thrown it high over the top. And I kind of threw it like I decided the route for him, like I thought he was going to break flat towards the sideline. So that's the throw I want back outside of the two fade balls to Tee. And, you hesitate to overcorrect because on our deep balls, I think we're overall 3 for 6. One deep one that got called first third down to Tee. Deep one that got called back for a penalty to Tee. And then a coverage penalty to Jamar to the left. And then really there's another one I missed on the 2nd and 10, about a foot. I'm not going to overthink that. It's really the third down in the red zone where I didn't give Tee a chance. And there was another one on another third down near our sideline that I threw it a little high.
Is there a big difference in what you guys were doing offensively in 23, that 7-game stretch that you had, and now?
I think it's obviously the same system. You're always going to mold your system to the players you have. I think screen game and run game kind of helped me get into a rhythm, or especially early on when I had no experience. But yeah, I think that's kind of the main thing that stands out. Like I just felt like we did a better job when I was in 23, and we need to improve in this year is just staying ahead of the sticks more. Like the amount of snaps that I had in 23 where it was just 2nd and 5, 2nd and 2, not 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12, and then you're basically playing third down twice. So I think that's kind of something that stands out, and also just how I approach, some of my decision making and prioritizing, knowing when the situations are to take the shots and knowing when the situations are to just take the completion underneath, get us into a third and manageable.
Getting the ball out on time is a big deal, obviously, for a quarterback. It seemed like on the first drive it was 1 read, 2 reads, whatever it was to you, the ball was out. Was it that way the rest of the game, or do you think that's perhaps what changed over the course of the game from the first drive?
Yeah, I think we haven't played well on offense in the last 2 games, but I think there's very rarely been times on tape where I'm taking a drop, there's someone open, I don't throw it to him. And so, there's a lot of different reasons for that. Sometimes it's, pocket. Sometimes it's, I took a yes-no throw over here and the guy to the left ends up being open. You can't overthink that because the decision-making was sound. You can't coach off the result. You got to coach off the decision-making, coach yourself off of the decision-making. And so, yeah, I think every quarterback plays well when they're playing on time and rhythm, and the guys you expect to be open are open. And so I think that really goes back to kind of the point I made on the previous question is just what stood out to me about that drive was just staying ahead of the sticks. Like we were efficient on first down and got into some 2nd and shorters, 2nd and 4s, and third downs were all manageable. And so, I think that's winning football just in general. That's not something special about the Bengals. I think that's just when you're playing offensive football, you want to stay ahead of the sticks.
Is it those
too short, 231s, I think, early on. It looked like you made a tough, it looked like those were tough throws, in those situations. Is that, are you looking to simplify it a little bit, easier throws? I mean, is there such a thing?
I mean, I don't think they're easy decisions. I mean, if you want to come and play man, I'll take Tee Higgins and Jamar all day long. I think I got to give them a better chance on some of them, and the ones that I did, I think the outcome was positive. So yeah, I mean, I think that kind of goes back to my main takeaway from the game is just giving our really good receivers opportunities on the 50-50 balls.
Jake, what's your philosophy for being under center and how in the conversation with Zach, how much you like being it, as opposed to 23 versus now? How have those conversations evolved on your thoughts on being under center versus being a shotgun or pistol?
Yeah, I think that kind of comes down to what are we doing running the ball and trying to marry it up with the run game. So I think that's really what decides what your play action looks like. Not really the other way around. If you're under center running the ball, and that's where most of your efficient runs are coming from on tape, then you want to mirror that in the play action game. But if you're a gun run team that is doing a lot more of it, in the gun or pistol or whatever it is, you just want to make them look the same.
What's it like? What are the challenges of playing under center versus? I know it's kind of a basic question, but what are the challenges of quarterback going from under center, running your pass game out of there primarily versus being a shotgun or pistol?
I mean, you're hoping when you get under center, you get more favorable looks for the pass game. You hope you get some dot checks, and you're hoping you're throwing into single high, and you're getting a better run cell, so you're getting a more aggressive bite from the linebackers. But in theory, you really should be able to do both. I think especially at this level, if you're an NFL quarterback, I think you should be able to do under center, pistol, or gun, whatever's going to work. So I think it kind of goes back to what I just said, is just whatever's working in the run game. I don't make those decisions on if it's under center, pistol, or gun. So I just want to be able to do whatever's going to marry up the best and complement what we need to be able to do in the run game, so that we can not be predictable.
How important is it for you when you're doing that self-evaluation to stick to the film and not let the overall struggles or the stats or anything like that get to you and impact how you grade yourself when you're looking at it?
Yeah, I think it's hard. Personally, you're pissed off. You want to score way more points, and there's obviously frustrations with how little production we've had on offense, and I don't think anyone's hiding from that. And so I think you have the personal level, and then you have the team level of how you evaluate it, and not even evaluate it, but just how you approach it. Personal level, it's okay, remove all the how you're feeling about everything. Just go through each game or each play, and are there certain things that are showing up that you're doing that are contributing to the lack of success on offense? I think for me, it's given guys a better chance on some of these deep balls. Kind of pointed out the two main ones that I think I want back, and then on a team level, it's just, what do you look like walking in the building on Wednesday? We're all short week, all that different stuff. Everyone's pissed. I think that's something that you don't really know. Nobody really knows except for yourself. When you lay down at night, did I bring it today in a Wednesday walkthrough where I could have coasted through everything, or did you dedicate more of yourself or less of yourself? And that's kind of something Zach's been saying is, when there's adversity hitting or things aren't going the way you want, are you dedicating more of yourself to it, to try and figure out the solution and be part of the solution, or are you dedicating less so that the losses hurt less? You're kind of disconnected, and you're making excuses for why things are going the way they are. And so I think that's outside of some major outliers, you don't really know. Nobody really knows how your response is except for yourself. And so I think for me, I've always been just do more, and whether the outcome is what you like, what you want it to be or not, at least you got the peace of mind. There's a lot of things that go into winning football games and losing football games, but a lack of effort is just something very controllable. And so I think that's kind of the focus on, for myself as showing up to work.
Orlando hinted that there might be an extra offensive meeting with the leaders after the last game to maybe figure out a way to get you guys playing better? Has there been anything different this week?
I mean, I think we'll keep some of that stuff internal, but I think the main, like I said, just the main focus for us is just dedicate more of yourself to it, put more time into it, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I'm leaving no stone unturned and showing up Sunday with giving our team the best chance to win.
What was your take on the walkthrough today?
Thought it went well. I think it went about as well as a Wednesday walkthrough can be. And, it's one day, and now it's getting ready for Thursday and doing everything we need to do to make sure we have a good practice tomorrow, but one day at a time.
Dan Picture said that self-inflicted mistakes just can't be tolerated. He said that was one of the messages to you guys as an offense. What does that mean to you as a quarterback?
Means pre-snap, making sure we're in the right play, making sure that everything is operationally gone well, or is how it's supposed to be. And then post-snap, it's taking care of the ball. And I think in this offense, you do have to make some aggressive throws in the pocket. That's just the reality of being a drop-back team and relying on drop-back game. And so I think for me, it's just some of the decision-making outside of the pocket. I really felt like was better this last game. I think that was one positive. Is obviously Minnesota had 2 picks, Jacksonville had 3. Like definitely felt like I took better care of the ball and didn't put us back like with turnovers, and was able to find the balance of still being aggressive and pushing the ball down the field when it needed to be, and not making careless throws or reckless throws outside the pocket. So I think that's kind of what that applies to the quarterback.
Knowing how explosive Detroit can be, how many points they put up on the board so far this year, does that go into your thinking as a quarterback about exactly how aggressive you have to be downfield?
I think that's a dangerous, trap to fall into. I think, for me, I'm just going to operate the play call that I get and be really focused on making sure, one play at a time, just operating how it's supposed to be run. I think if you start trying to make your decisions based on what they have on offense or, what they do or don't have on offense, it could be kind of a dangerous trap to fall into. So just want to operate well, want to keep the ball moving forward, play ahead of the sticks, and give our guys a chance down the field.
What stands out about their defense?
I think they're definitely going to, at least so far, come up and challenge you. They got really good personnel. Front seven's really good. The DBs are scrappy as hell. I like watching. I think 21 does a really good job. He's aggressive. He's not afraid to come up and press anybody in the NFL. He doesn't care. And I think the safeties do a really good job being ball hawks.
You've always taken a ton of pride in proving how well you can play this position. Does that intensify after the last couple of weeks for you in your mind, or no? Is it kind of the same?
Yeah, I think the attention or like the intensity throughout the week gets higher. I think on game day, you have to be who you need to be on game day. And for me, that's not somebody that's trying to prove the world wrong with one throw. I think that's how you end up making some dumb decisions. But I think for me, it's when things aren't going the way you want them to, it's what's your level of intensity throughout the week. And so I think that's kind of how I respond to things not going well. And but I think on game day, you got to be whatever you need to be in order to play your best ball. And I think for me, that's just, playing calm and operating at a high level.